Hi, welcome back. I'm on stage 2 of my project right now for the irrigation system, and I just had a whole bunch of the parts come in, and I'm going to try and break them down for you in just a moment. Okay, so back to the new equipment coming in. I'm going to start from right to left. On the right hand side, I have the Orbit sprinkler valve system. This is a 2-part manifold. This is where the water supply will be coming into your irrigation system, and then in this case it's 2 valve setups, so this way you can control 2 separate zones. The next one is a pump start relay. This is where the next to that is the timer. This is where when the timer is about to open up a zone, it sends a signal to the pump start relay, which turns on the 110 volt or 220, depending on your pump requirements. It'll turn the power on for the pump, so this way you don't have to be down at the lake actually turning on the switch when your zones are ready to go on. The third shows the actual example of the manifold, and I wanted to compare that versus a separate one that I'm going to be building myself, and I'll also show that I'll build mine as a 2, 3, 4, and we'll break that out a little bit later. But this is the manifold where the water supply is going to come in from over here, and then with these solenoids and the signal being sent to these will open up and let the water flow through here to get to each of your 2 distinct zones. This is another version. I'm actually going to have T-fittings to have the water come in to here, solenoid opens the valve, comes through, and then water comes out to your zone. And you would have 2, 3, 4, however many you needed for your situation. The last item I have here is a filter, and I can go over the parts and what I paid and all that stuff later. I'll try and summarize it in a chart for you. But this is a filter for the lake, so that how do I get the water in? I don't want the debris and tree branches and twigs or any critters getting in. And there also comes with the capacity of getting these extra mesh bags that help inhibit even smaller particles. And depending on how granular you want to get, you can get smaller ones. And then I'll go ahead and tie that. So from here, and I'll break all these parts down here. You got, from the filter to a 2-inch screw-in hub to get it down to our 1-inch pipe, threaded to get to our foot valve, so we have water coming in, but it doesn't go out, and then comes through and ties into the rest of your water supply going to the pump. Okay, now on to the pump start relay. The flow is going to be from the pump start relay to the timer. The timer is going to kick on the relay, which turns on the pump, so you don't have to manually sit by the pump when you want to turn your zones on. I picked this model versus the Rainbird. It was much less expensive, but basically did the exact same thing. And the one thing that I like about it is a heavy-duty outdoor plastic box. The screws are actually plastic for going in, which is good. So this way, because of the outdoor, you don't have the water that's going to be rusting into, a metal box. And having a boat and a boat lift, I find that these plastic ones work really well. Now, to do the magic of taking it off, I've already undone the screws, taking this off, and you can see the internals as simple as it can get. And I'll explain these in just a minute. Okay, it's about as simple as it can get, and I'll explain it in just a moment. So, what's going on is this. You're going to have your L1 in and your L1 out, and then you have your L2 in, and I can't see that yet, but there's your L2 in, and then your L2 out. So your 1 and 2, this is basically coming from your power supply, your electric, your main power that's coming in. And then your outs are going to be going out to your actual pump. Okay? So imagine your house breaker box is over here that has a power set of wires that goes, okay, let's try this again. So from your breaker box in your house, you have wire that connects up and sets up into here, just like you would a standard outlet in your house. Then, or a light switch. Then by hitting the light switch, it says, okay, turn the power that's coming into here and send it out here. So now this is going to be turning on the actual pump. Then they have these two blue wires. The two blue wires, as you can see, are listed upside down as the 24 volt for the AC. This 24 volt is going to be coming as a signal from the Rainbird controller. So instead of you having to run down and hit a switch, the pump is going to send a 24 volt charge that says, open up the connection that says, let the power coming in go to the pump. And that's how you get your pump activity. I'm actually going to do a demonstration with this with a battery that I have here, just a standard Black & Decker battery, and a very simple light bulb, which I will connect so that you'll be able to see how this works without dealing with high voltage wiring. So we will go through that a little bit later. Okay, so now I'm working on the Rainbird. This is the smart timer, the ST. 8 is for the number of zones that this handles, and 2.0. Now, I've picked this one because of some research that I did. I was comfortable with it, the product, the reputation of Rainbird itself, and also based off of the number of zones I was expecting that I might need, but I could go for more. As I take the cover off of it, the cover has a place for the power adapter, which is a 24 volt power adapter, and I have two wires. Those will go in to the 24 volt AC. The next two I'm leaving alone. The C is the common. The M is for a master valve, which is basically our pump. And then 1 through 8 are to handle the different zones that you're going to have in your irrigation system. Now, let's get to basic wiring. If you have, for example, in your house, you have your circuit breaker panel in the house. Make pretend that's a circuit breaker. You have wires coming out of that and come over to power your electrical lights, your electrical fixtures. A standard wire has your white, a ground, and your black. The white is the neutral, and the black is where your power is coming in. The ground is for ground purposes, but we don't have that in this setup. So what's going to happen is this is going to come from your breaker box to your pump start relay. And as I described in my prior video, the pump start relay has the line in versus the line out. Let me get this open just a moment. So these, the black and white, are going to be your line in 1 and line in 2. These are going to be your ins. Okay. Then from that, these two, this is just another sample of wire. This is a 3-way. Ignore that wire. Then this is going to be the outs that are going to be going to your actual pump. Okay. So knowing that home construction wiring is standard with a white and a black, white is your neutral, black is your power, I now have to have my wiring for this unit. The wiring for the unit sprinkler wire is typically 18 gauge for standard residential. You may have higher for commercial and stuff, but in general it's 18 gauge, which is the thickness of the wire. When you get the sprinkler wire, you may see 18/5 or 18/7 or 18/10. The slash indicates how many individual wires are inside the wrap of the sprinklers. And as you can see, I have a white and a black here. So when I wire this, and I'll show it when I'm done, I'm going to have the white to the common, and I'm going to have the black to the pump, because I'm going to have white and black over here that are connecting to here. And then I'm going to have another white and black that's going to actually go to the pump. So I'm just going to have white and black going from here to, let me get the black one out, wherever the black one is. I'm going to have, when I get it, there we go, I'm going to have the white and black connecting to these blue leads. Now, because this is low voltage, it doesn't matter if you're connecting, the black to one side versus the other, doesn't matter as long as you're completing the circuit with the wires connected. And I'll show that. The rest of the wires are intended for handling the zones. So this white wire is going to go all the way through, but now we have our different zones. So I can go ahead and stick these individual wires into each unit that I want to, have for my zones. Do I have to use them all? No, but they're available. Now, the cool thing about this one is an 1810, the 10 different colors, I can actually use a rainbow just to remember my order. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, and then I have brown as a last measure. So I could know right away that, red is zone 1, orange is zone 2, yellow, etc. Just a simple thing. Now, when I'm getting to my actual valves, which is, for example, over here, the other end of the wire is going to need to connect up to the solenoid wires here. And again, like the pump relay, it doesn't matter which one, I have 2 low voltage. So what I'm going to do for this valve is I'm going to connect my white wire up as a common, and then I'm going to connect my red wire up to the other lead. And by doing this and putting the red into spot 1, that's now going to turn on zone 1 or turn it off when the timing is done. I'm going to actually set and wire these up, and we'll get back to a little bit more detail a little bit later, but at least you can see a little bit of how the pieces all tie together.